All right. It's such a great day to have synchronicity. I am so excited to see everyone for Tips and Tea. And I am joined with T, who is going to give us her perspective of going through um, the mental health system and some things that she has utilized to get her through some anxious and depressive symptoms and share her tips and her tea with us. T, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm here. We're always here. We're always striving to just be here.
Yes, you are here, and I am so excited to see you in Cairo today. Hi,
Good. You
Cairo.
gonna have it? No? Okay. No, you don't want to say hi. Right. See that? All
So,
that
T,
next to me.
tell us about yourself and tell us about the book.
Okay, so I am T. I go by Noel Bleu for all of my writing things. I am 32. I live in Philadelphia, which is stressful all on its own. And I work for a hospital when I am not doing literary things. But I also run Blue Moon Fiction, which is a WordPress blog and a YouTube channel. And as per a conversation from yesterday, we're going to be doing a podcast soon. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yes, you should be. Very good. So tell us, what has your journey with therapy been like?
I've been in therapy, one form of therapy or another. I've been in one form of therapy or another since I was about 14 or so when my grandmother passed. And that was, how are you feeling today? Why do you feel that way? And how did that make you feel? Very, stereotypical, this is not helping me kind of therapy. I've been to therapists where they were helping me, but my stressors are my family a lot of the times. And so they're like, well, why don't we get you guys all in? And I'm trying to explain to them why that wouldn't work. And they're like, no, you should try to bring them all in. And then that's stressful as well. The hardest part of therapy for me has honestly been paying for it. It's hard to find affordable counseling. It's hard to find programs that support people who both work and pay bills like normal jobs. Like I work at a hospital. I am not a doctor. I am a registration specialist. So my doctor, the therapist and the doctors who work at my hospital, they probably can afford to pay $100 copays, every couple of weeks, once a month, things like that. I am a person where I need, at least 2 check-ins a month, with my therapist, as you know. And then lots and lots of separate attention, like let me email you. Maybe I need to call you today. And, having to pay for those each time. For somebody who isn't making thousands of dollars a check is challenging. Definitely well worth it. Before I lost my job and got sick and all the other things that happened, I was completely okay with paying for your services. We found a way to make it work. But a lot of people don't have those resources. A lot of people didn't find themselves in you. So you were actually really beneficial because you told me about the Taraji P. Henson Foundation. You're the one who yeah, there are a bunch of programs here and here's a list of things you can look for. So, I mean, if it hadn't been for you, when our sessions ended, that just would have been that. And I would have had no real way of coping with my stressors. And also, even after, our sessions had to end because we ran out of options, you still check in. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah. She's trying to make me cry. I'm not going to let her do it.
I know that you're literally the best therapist I've ever had, and I appreciate that.
Oh, let's see. Talk to us a little bit about the Boris L. Henson Foundation and how that helpful, how that resource helped you.
Yes. So the Boris L. Henson Foundation is a mental health nonprofit that was started by Taraji P. Henson. So 2 different things. You told me about it after I had read Taraji P. Henson's book, Around the Way Girl. So I read the Around the Way Girl book, all about her dad and her life and everything that was going on with that. And then lost my job. We ran out of options. And you're like, here, go try them. And they actually, paid for a couple of my sessions. So I was actually able to learn about them, not just from like, oh, this is something that exists, but I've actually been able to utilize them as a resource. And, once the program closes, I think they only do it twice a year. The program is closed, but it's still a resource. They have, tips and tricks and other options for you as well if you don't want to pay for.
Good.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Really good. So, say, what advice would you give to someone that is looking for a therapist?
I know it's going to sound challenging, but before you start looking for a therapist, know the kind of person that you are. Not all therapies work for everybody. Not all therapists are going to work for everybody. Like I said, you have been the best therapist because we relate and we connect, and you understand how I'm thinking and have been able to assist me on that level. For somebody who is more religious than spiritual, they might benefit from somebody who wants to pray before or after, or, here's a Bible scripture to help you through. For somebody who is more holistic, maybe they would benefit from, here's some crystals, or, here, say these mantras. For somebody who is more of a clinical, logical kind of person, you might be better in an office setting with a clinician sitting there with a notepad, scribbling notes. It really just depends. And I've had them all. And it really just depends on you and the kind of person that you are. As I do others. I need to spend as much time pouring into myself as I've been pouring into other people. I literally got to a place where I have no job, no money, credit cards maxed out. I'm pregnant. I have a kid. I've had to move out of my home. The car that I was driving is gone, like literally, and I had nothing left to offer anybody. I was literally sitting there, seconds from a nervous breakdown, and that was my truth. And I had to, God willing, I had friends and family members who were there as a support system, but I had to pull myself out of that. And it started by just focusing on, what do you need right this second? What do you need? Do you need, a nap? Do you need to drink some water? Do you need the window open? Like, what do you need for you right now? Okay, cool. Now that we're not dealing with the sickness, what do you need? Do you need money in your pocket? Do you need like a job? You just need to keep yourself busy. Like, how can I help myself right now? What is it that I need to do? And by just reminding myself that, you can't help other people if there's no you. And you can't, be the dope fly supportive queen that you need to be if you are not properly supported, if you're not feeling dope, if you don't have the energy, then you literally all the extra things you like to do, you cannot do them. So I have to, pour into myself the way I've been pouring into other people, especially when it comes to like my dreams and my aspirations, things I wanted to accomplish. I put a lot on hold so that I can help other people accomplish what they wanted to accomplish. And some people have accomplished those things and some people have not. But either way, you know who else hasn't? You. See, you haven't done that. Like, you still have yet to go back and do your secondary edits on your book because you've been overwhelmed. Right.
Yeah. Really good tips, right? And thank you for sharing what you've been through as far as your journey is concerned, and some things that have kept you together, right? And just sharing that. Sometimes other people that is listening or watching, they need to hear that someone else is going through something that sounds like what I'm going through, and they were able to overcome. So that's a inspiration to somebody who we don't even know. So thank you that you shared that. When you do feel down or depressed,
yes,
brings you up when you were going through that? What brought you out of that dark place?
So honestly, like I said, I had an amazing support system. And if it wasn't for them, I tell them that all the time. Like, I don't think y'all realize how depressed I was. I don't think y'all understood exactly what I was dealing with. When I get pregnant, I get sick. I get almost died sick. Like, I was hospitalized 2, maybe 3 times. And it's really just, you're pregnant. There's literally nothing wrong. You don't have a fever. There's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, like I told them, I don't think y'all understood how depressed I was. how stressed out I was. Like, not for nothing. Like, I'd been with Cameron for 10 years. So this is essentially like I'm getting divorced. I'm, leaving my home and I'm pregnant. The hormones that go into, I was about 2.5, 3 months pregnant. Like, there's a baby in there that we could see. I had a due date. There was a lot that I had to handle all on my own. And if it wasn't for, my god brother coming out and hanging out with me basically every day, like, yo, you good? If it wasn't for my sister, calling me every day to check on me, coming by to visit, getting me out of this house. Like, my first actual job back to work, it was a temp position, but it was a job. My very first job to make me feel like I can do something again. My sister helped me get that, you know? My sister and her husband, they rent office space in Center City. It's not far from my house. They know I run a blog. They shoot and film things there all the time. They're like, well, we're at the office. Come down, come work with us, do some work, get some work done. And so I was doing that up until I found myself like a paying full-time job. So I was able to get my blog and everything back up and running in a way that I liked it. Which I wouldn't have been able to do if I had the full-time job and the kid and was pregnant and so on and so forth. But also, without them, I'd still probably just be sitting in the house stressed out. Yeah. So it was really them. And like I said, I do self-medicate from time to time. If you can get a medical marijuana card, y'all totally should. Y'all handle that. You'd be surprised how little you care about anything, really.
Yeah, right.
When you got
So do you consider yourself spiritual, C? And if so, how?
Yes. So I mean, I grew up on a spiritual plan. It's weird. So we grew up in church, and then also we grew up with the understanding that my great grandmother, though she believed in God, was, she practiced voodoo. That was her religion. So she would go to church and then go home and then put a root on your butt if you was acting up. So I was raised that way. I had my rites of passage when I was 13. I've had my little misfires with tapping into my own power. I actually stopped practicing a lot because that made Cameron uncomfortable. And so it had actually been many years since I took part in that. But coming back here, it was weird. Like one day I was just talking about it with my cousin and a friend about, how we used to practice. And they're like, well, why don't you, since you got some time and you don't have anything else to do, you said you stopped because you didn't have the time to dedicate, the correct reverence to the craft as you wanted to. Why not pick it up? And the very next day, like I found all my books, I found my crystals, I found all my incense packs. I'm just like, what an interesting thing, God, that you're sending me here. All right. You said, get back to my actual roots. I got you. So I'm very, if you don't feel well, I got a tea for you, you should take this hot shower, say these mantras in your bathtub a couple times. Here, put these things in this jar, close that jar up, seal it with some wax, put it on your shelf. Like I'm one of those kinds of people. For my birthday, my sister got me a whole green kitchen witchery cookbook. She's like, you'll love this. You'll love all these things that you can like make in your kitchen. I'm like, I won't make it in this kitchen, but I'll make them when I go to my actual house.
Mm-hmm. What else, C? What else would you like us to know about you?
I am the author of Spiral, which is my very first novella. It is a literary expose into the downward spiral of a young woman who, put a lot of her energy and focus and attention on a young man she probably shouldn't have. And we watch her lose her mind in the way that many of us have lost ourselves and our minds. And it's a wild ride. It is 2 parts. It's a 2-part project. The first part is it is a novella, but it's also going to be a short film that we're going to be in production with 2025. Yes, please go. And the secondary edits will be done soon. So the book is coming out in 2023, and I'm really excited about that. So it's like I told you before we started recording, I thought it was interesting that we were here to have a mental health chat. And I get to also plug a book about mental health.
Yes.
or
Yes.
lack thereof.
Yeah. Definitely. He is always, always, always amazing connecting with you, watching you evolve. And thank you for sharing how you were in the despairs of darkness and was able to utilize some stress reduction techniques and some things that you gained in therapy to bring yourself up out of that, the resources that helped you get access to the treatment that you need and deserve, that everyone deserves, and just for sharing with all of us today things that has helped you along the way and helped you on your journey. And as I tell everyone, this is a journey, right?
Yeah.
It does not stop when you are in treatment. Affordable healthcare should be essential for everyone. That is something that we are working for and towards, especially for our BIPOC community. So I'm gonna make sure that all of your information is tagged under your video.
Yay!
And my goal for you, my wish for you is to be brave, be magical, and above all else, be well. Take care.
Yeah. All right.
Bye-bye.
See ya in therapy. All right. Bye-bye.